If you want to build strength, discipline, and authority in a soft world, you don't need more motivation. You need a mindset shaped by men who built nations out of wilderness, order out of chaos, and character out of hardship. This is the mindset that forged Washington through freezing camps, Hamilton through poverty, Adams through pressure, and Franklin through relentless self-mastery. Not positive thinking, not modern comfort. A disciplined Republican founding father mindset, built on virtue, duty, work, and responsibility. Today, we break down exactly how that mindset was forged, and how you can use the same iron-willed philosophy to rebuild your life. Chapter 1. The first principle: duty over comfort and voluntary hardship. The modern world tells you to choose comfort, ease, and self-indulgence. But the men who built America lived by the opposite law: duty first, comfort later. Washington didn't cross icy rivers in comfort. Adams didn't defend independence because it was easy. Hamilton didn't write 51 Federalist Papers in a month because he felt inspired. They acted because duty demanded action. Duty is the root of iron-willed character. Comfort weakens you. Duty hardens you. To them, duty meant work before pleasure, responsibility before excuses, action over feelings, effort over comfort, and discipline over convenience. When you train this mindset, life bends in your favor because you're doing what few are willing to do. Most men wait for motivation. Iron-willed men respect duty. That shift alone makes you unstoppable. The power of voluntary hardship. The founding father mindset begins with a simple truth: hardship is not something to avoid, it is something to accept. Franklin wrote, "Do not fear mistakes. You will know failure. Continue to reach." Hamilton came from nothing. He lost family, faced poverty, and lived as an orphan. Yet hardship sharpened him instead of breaking him. Washington endured freezing winters, disease, starvation, political pressure, and endless setbacks. But he embraced hardship as the price of leadership. The founders knew discomfort builds capability, so they trained themselves to handle cold, hunger, fatigue, uncertainty, risk, pressure, responsibility, failure, repetition, and work. Most people avoid these forces, but the iron-willed mindset uses them like weights in a gym. The more hardship you voluntarily endure, the stronger you become. The rule of self-command. Self-command was the highest personal expectation of the founders. It meant controlling your impulses, governing your emotions, directing your energy toward purpose, acting rationally, not impulsively, saying no to weakness, and saying yes to responsibility. Adams wrote that a republic could only survive if men governed themselves before governing others. You cannot build strength if you cannot command yourself. The founding fathers believed, if you cannot control your passions control your destiny. Iron-willed men don't live by impulse. They live by principle. Chapter 2. Build virtue and discipline like muscle. The founding fathers didn't rely on inspiration. They trained virtue like athletes train strength. Benjamin Franklin crafted a personal system of daily discipline. He tracked his virtues every night. He demanded continuous improvement. His virtues included temperance, silence, order, resolution, frugality, industry, sincerity, justice, moderation, cleanliness, tranquility, chastity, and humility. He wasn't born disciplined. He built discipline. He wasn't born focused. He trained focus. He wasn't born productive. He shaped himself through structured effort. This is where most men fail today. They wait to feel ready, but the founders acted because they demanded growth from themselves. You become iron-willed the same way. Build small virtues daily until strength becomes natural. The 3 core virtues of an iron-willed man. From the founders' writings and behaviors, 3 virtues rise above all others: industry, work, consistent work, not perfection, effort. Hamilton worked through the night. Franklin rose before dawn. Adams wrote until his hands cramped. Industry builds momentum. Momentum builds accomplishment. Accomplishment builds confidence. Temperance, control of appetite, control of emotion, control of impulse. A man without temperance is a slave to himself. Resolution. Once a decision is made, it is executed, not debated, not delayed, not weakened. Resolution turns goals into results. Industry gives you movement. Temperance gives you control. Resolution gives you force. These 3 virtues form the backbone of the iron-willed mindset. The danger of modern weakness and the practical start. The modern world has created a crisis of character. Comfort is endless. Distraction is constant. Discipline is optional. Work is avoided. Responsibility is outsourced. Virtue is seen as old-fashioned, and because of this, many men collapse under pressure. Many fear effort. Many seek shortcuts, many waste time and potential. But an iron-willed man does not adapt to weakness. He strengthens himself to overcome it. The Founding Father mindset is the antidote to modern softness. Here are the 3 daily habits that begin the transformation. Habit 1. 1 hour of uninterrupted work. No phone, no distractions, just focused effort. This builds industry. Habit 2. 1 act of voluntary hardship. Cold shower, extra workout set, a difficult conversation. This builds temperance. Habit 3. 1 completed decision. Pick something today, finish it fully. This builds resolution. These habits forge the base of the iron-willed mindset. Chapter 3. Discipline over emotion and self-governance. Iron-willed men don't move by emotion, they move by principle. The modern world teaches men to follow how you feel, but the Founding Father mindset builds men who follow what is right. Emotion is real, but it's not the commander. Discipline is. George Washington once said that discipline is the soul of an army. But he didn't just mean soldiers, he meant men. Iron-willed men understand something today's society avoids. Your feelings are allowed to exist. They are not allowed to decide your life. You don't quit because you're tired. You don't break your word because you're frustrated. You don't betray your mission because you're emotional. Iron-willed men train themselves to act with consistency even when their feelings change every hour. Emotion is the weather. Discipline is the climate. One shifts, one remains. And just like the men who carved this nation out of wilderness and conflict, you become unstoppable the moment you master your inner storms. Because discipline isn't suffering, it's clarity. It's standing firm when the world tries to move you. It's becoming the kind of man who doesn't ask, "Do I feel like it?" but instead asks, "Does this align with my duty, my values, my mission?" When discipline overrides emotion, you transform from being pulled by life to steering it. Self-governance before world governance. The strongest men in history understood a simple truth. You cannot lead others until you learn to govern yourself. The Founding Father mindset wasn't built on ego. It was built on inner order, self-control, structure, routine, standards. Jefferson wrote that the greatest form of government is self-government. Why? Because self-governing men don't need constant rescue, validation, or permission. They regulate themselves. They manage their time. They manage their decisions. They manage their weaknesses. Iron-willed men don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for ideal conditions. They don't wait for approval. They choose the harder road because it forces them to master themselves. A man who cannot control his habits cannot control his future. A man who cannot control his words cannot command respect. A man who cannot control his impulses cannot hold responsibility. When you build self-governance, you become a man who can be trusted. Trusted with work. Trusted with responsibility. Trusted with leadership. Because you have proven you can rule the only kingdom you truly own, yourself. And once a man can rule himself, everything else becomes manageable. This is why the Founding Father mindset is powerful. It creates men who don't collapse under pressure or fall apart when things get difficult. They remain composed, clear, and grounded, even in chaos. Self-governance is not about perfection. It's about predictability. People know you won't explode, crumble, panic, or retreat. You are stable, you are steady, you are measured. A man like that becomes a pillar, not because he's perfect, but because he's consistent. Chapter 4. The power of delayed gratification. Iron-willed men understand a truth the modern world hates to admit. Everything meaningful comes later, not now. The Founding Father mindset was built on delayed gratification because these men weren't chasing quick dopamine. They were building futures. Hamilton didn't write the Federalist Papers for instant praise. Jefferson didn't study philosophy for a quick reward. Washington didn't build discipline for applause. They invested in long-term payoff. Today's society trains people to want everything instantly. Food instantly, entertainment instantly, comfort instantly, success instantly. But instant gratification destroys long-term strength. Why? Because when you chase the quick reward, you avoid the necessary work. Iron-willed men flip that. Do the hard thing now, enjoy the reward later. It's the difference between working out versus avoiding effort, saving money versus spending impulsively, studying versus scrolling, building versus consuming, and delaying pleasure versus chasing it mindlessly. Every meaningful achievement requires patience. The Founding Father mindset makes you unstoppable because it forces you to build what most people avoid, the ability to want the future more than the present. Chapter 5. Mental toughness, responsibility, and action. Many men today feel weak, anxious, or overwhelmed because their lives lack responsibility. Responsibility is not a burden. Responsibility is fuel. The Founding Fathers carried enormous weight, leadership, decisions, risk, sacrifice, and it hardened them. Responsibility forces a man to grow because pressure demands capability. Washington didn't become a leader by avoiding responsibility. He became a leader by accepting it. Hamilton didn't gain influence by hiding from challenges. He took more responsibility than anyone around him. Adams didn't become respected by complaining. He became respected because he stood firm when others wavered. Responsibility sharpens. Courage, focus, decision-making, discipline, emotional control, and confidence. A man who takes responsibility becomes stronger because he must. A man who avoids it becomes weaker because he chooses. This is why the Founding Father mindset builds iron-willed men. It forces you to carry weight until you grow into the man who can handle it. Become a man of action. All discipline, all virtue, all mindset means nothing without action. The Founding Fathers acted relentlessly. Washington stepped into danger. Hamilton wrote endlessly. Franklin experimented constantly. Adams debated fiercely, and Jefferson drafted with precision. Iron-willed men don't sit around waiting for motivation. They move. They execute, they build. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates identity. Identity creates destiny. The world doesn't respect what you think. The world respects what you do. Take action even when you're uncertain. Take action even when you're afraid. Take action even when you're not ready. Read, write, train, study, work, build, improve. Every action strengthens the mindset of a disciplined man. Chapter 6. Iron Routine, the Unshakable Man, and the 3 tests. Weak routines create weak minds. Iron-willed men build iron routines, not because routines are exciting, but because they are strengthening. The Founding Father mindset didn't romanticize discipline, it normalized it. These men woke up early because their mission demanded it. They trained their bodies because their duty required it. They read, wrote, studied, practiced, improved, not because they felt like it, but because it formed the backbone of an effective life. Routines remove doubt. Routines remove hesitation. Routines remove chaos. They turn your day into a structure of progress instead of a storm of randomness. When your routine is strong, you don't skip important tasks. You don't drift aimlessly. You don't lose momentum. Routine is the training ground for success, and iron-willed men treat it as sacred, because the man who controls his days eventually controls his destiny. The unshakable man. The Founding Fathers weren't superhuman. They were trained through philosophy, discipline, hardship, and responsibility to become unshakable. An unshakable man is not someone who feels nothing. He is someone who remains steady while feeling everything. He doesn't collapse under stress. He doesn't lose himself in anger. He doesn't break under pressure. He doesn't crumble when life hits hard. He stands firm because he built himself to stand firm. The world respects men like this because they are rare. The Founding Father mindset makes you unshakable because it trains inner stability, emotional discipline, rational action, purpose over impulse, duty over comfort, and strength over weakness. An unshakable man becomes a pillar, someone others can rely on, not because he seeks power, but because he earned authority through character. The world bends to men like this, not because they dominate it, but because they cannot be moved by it. The 3 tests of an iron-willed man. Every iron-willed man must pass 3 essential tests. Test 1, the test of consistency. Can you keep moving even when you're not motivated? Most men fail here. Test 2, the test of restraint. Can you control yourself when emotions flare? Impulse destroys more men than failure ever will. Test 3, the test of commitment. Can you finish what you start? Greatness requires completion, not intention. These tests build the modern version of the Founding Father mindset. A man who works without excuses. A man who controls himself under pressure. A man who finishes what others abandon. These are the men who rise. These are the men who lead. These are the men who cannot be broken. Chapter 7. A code of principles, reputation, and silence. Men today drift because they live without principles. Iron-willed men stand firm because they live by them. A principle is not a preference. A principle is a line you don't cross. In the Founding Father mindset, principles were not optional. They formed the backbone of character, honor, responsibility, courage, integrity, discipline, self-sacrifice. When a man accepts a personal code, life becomes simpler. decisions become clearer, noise becomes irrelevant. Because principles act as a compass. A principle-based man doesn't lie even when it's easier. He doesn't take shortcuts even when nobody's watching. He doesn't quit when the road gets hard. He doesn't betray his values for convenience. Principles shape identity. Identity shapes actions. Actions shape destiny. With principles, success is inevitable. The value of reputation. Iron-willed men protect their reputation because it determines their influence, opportunities, and future. Your reputation is not what you post online. Your reputation is how consistently you live your standards. The founders believed, character is destiny. That meant tell the truth, keep your word, protect your integrity, respect your commitments, and act with honor even when unseen. A strong reputation opens doors you didn't know existed. Guard your name, guard your conduct, guard your principles. The strength of silence and solitude. Modern men fear silence. Iron-willed men use it as a weapon. The founders spent long hours alone, thinking, planning, strategizing, writing, refining their convictions. Silence builds perspective, patience, self-awareness, emotional stability, and clear purpose. Solitude is not loneliness. Solitude is self-command. When you allow silence into your life, you think with clarity. You remove noise. You sharpen priorities. You become mentally unshakable. The man who cannot be alone is controlled by the world. The man who thrives alone becomes unstoppable. Chapter 8. Master your time, consistency, and become your own founding father. Most modern men don't lack potential. They lack control over time. Time slips through their fingers because they let distraction steal attention, emotion control decisions, comfort dictate behavior, laziness override purpose, and randomness guide the day. The founding fathers were ruthless with their time. Iron-willed men live by one rule. If you don't control your time, someone else will. Mastering time starts with 3 steps. Plan your day before it begins, protect your focus from distractions, and finish the important task before anything else. This single shift can rebuild a man's entire life. Consistency over extremes. Many men try to become strong by making extreme changes for a few days. Iron-willed men succeed through consistency, not intensity. The founding fathers didn't rely on sudden bursts. They relied on steady, daily discipline. Small steps compound into massive transformation. Extremes burn out. Consistency builds empires. If you want strong character, discipline, habits, and mindset, commit to a simple rule. Never miss twice. Miss a day? Start again tomorrow. Feel tired? Do a smaller version, not 0. Lose focus? Return to the mission. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. Become your own founding father. The founding fathers didn't just build a country. They built themselves. They forged discipline, virtue, character, and responsibility long before they shaped institutions. And that is the final lesson. You must become the founding father of your own life. Build your standards, your discipline, your routine, your reputation, your mission, your principles. A nation is built the same way a man is built, through responsibility, structure, duty, and self-governance. When you take command of your life, you stop drifting, you stop reacting, you stop waiting, you stop blaming, you stop collapsing. You build yourself into a man who cannot be moved. This is the founding father mindset. Strong, disciplined, purpose-driven, iron-willed, and once you master it, nothing, not fear, not weakness, not comfort, can stop you. Call to action. The Iron Republic Standard. If you want to live as an iron-willed man, start now. Choose duty over comfort every time. Train daily discipline, even when you don't feel like it. Build a routine strong enough to shape your future. Guard your reputation with your actions, not your words. Take action today, not tomorrow. Live by principles, not emotions. Become the founding father of your own life. If you commit to these standards, your life will shift, slowly, then suddenly, into strength, structure, and unstoppable momentum. You won't just feel stronger, you will be stronger. Welcome to the Iron Republic. Now build yourself into the man you were meant to become.